ironic because Cossix and Meg faced each other in the winners semifinals, right? So it's almost like a small final. If that was the semifinals and they didn't have a grand finals almost, that would be almost like the small final going forward. But with that being said, let's see how things go into this first round. We got Animefan playing the Thor, and we got Meow with their pretty known Kaya.
It is a different skin, though.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, it's also very, a little entertaining to see how Meow chooses to opt in for the black color. Well, Animefan, no shame, rocking the Love Struck bright pink. So it's kind of funny to see two pretty opposite sides of the spectrum with a very dark color and a very bright, eccentric color. As currently, Animefan is swinging around that hammer in quite an equally eccentric way. One thing that I will say about Meow's gameplay is that they tend to fall behind a little bit that first game just to kind of know. This is also what I was talking about earlier. Meow's a perfect example of this, where if you think they're behind, that's almost kind of all going to plan. They need a little bit of time to play at that 70%, at that 89%, somewhere not quite at the top to say like, okay, let me take a little bit of a step back to see what do I need to do, how do I get the read on you, how do I know what you're doing, and then the second they know what they're doing, they lock in for that second game and get the 3-1, and it is just incredible to watch. You blink and the next game is gone with Meow. So although Animefan might be taking up a pretty good lead with this game, so they've obviously got to be feeling really good after a minute and a half. Stalks red 3 to white 1 after a pretty nice ground pound coming out from that Thor. This might be exactly what Meow needs, and there's a small chance that the second that this next game starts, that's when they kick it into high gear and get that 103%.
Yeah, absolutely. But right now, I mean, Meow is able to go knock out Animefan's very first stock as we get 2 minutes in. I mean, Animefan very, very powerful with that Thor. I know I've seen a lot of Animefan when it comes down to 2v2s play double Thor with Dog, especially I think during the 2v2 event as well during Winters. So we'll have to see. I mean, right now, we do see Meow coming in with that bow, trying to make amends, but they're also being very aggressive, which is benefiting them right now. But if Animefan can counter that with the hammer, that is going to be a very interesting situation for Meow. But Meow is starting to bring things back very, very well. And as I'm about to say that, watch there be commentators curse in like 5 seconds. We'll have to see. Oh, maybe not. Meow with the Kaya signature knockout.
That's also another interesting to see how much Meow is using the SIGs, because one thing that you really kind of notice from Meow's gameplay is that they know how to just take stage control and just own it and just completely suffocate the other player. And Kaya SIGs are a pretty good way to do that, and Nair is going to be a pretty good way to take game 1 after I think almost exactly 2 minutes into the game, excuse me, as we're going to be seeing if we have a map change, as I already forgot what map we're on next because I have a good memory. But no, yeah, we're going to have to see if Meow actually does step it up for the 102% now, or if Animefan actually really has this in the bag and they know exactly how to find their way around Meow. But watch Meow's uses of the SIGs, like I was saying a little bit earlier, that Kaya's SIGs are very good for just owning a lot of space. They travel very far, they're very good for chasing, and some of them, those D SIGs, they're basically like traps that you plant down. And so they're very good for just holding your ground and pushing someone away from you. And so those Kaya SIGs are great for stage control, and Meow just makes incredulous use of those. But right now, Animefan is also making some very incredulous use of the hammer and making sure that they still have some space right there. Chooses to not throw for the orb and still stick with the hammer to go into Meow's bow right now, as the game is very, very even. Meow seems to be a little hesitant about how to actually pick up the pace. So Animefan, especially with a character like Thor with all those stats on him, man's got some pretty good stats on his back. it can be pretty understandable why Meow is maybe not connecting as many combos as we see them connect. So Animefan is doing a great job of also using the character of Thor to their advantage. But that's how do you even time that out? That pause was probably a little bit of a gasp to just celebrate that for a second. How do you even calculate that? Pretty easy to understand how you can calculate that. Nair going to demonstrate how deeply damaged Meow is, but both of these players are just making phenomenal use of their characters with their stats, their sigs, their weapons, as much as Animefan makes phenomenal use of that Nair, and also the weapon bonk into Orb and Light. We see the Orb finally coming out from Animefan. Never mind, it's just to hold him over during the weapon starve to pick up Hammer against an unarmed Meow.
Yeah, absolutely. With that being said, Meow is able to go ahead and pick up that bow. Animefan is able to go ahead and pick up that orb, but that orb has been, I think Animefan is having a difficult time playing it compared to the hammer, right? I mean, they're throwing it out pretty decently. Like they have the weapon a decent amount of time, but their damage buildup with orb has not been the best compared to their hammer. And Meow's bow is countering Animefan's hammer as we go ahead and get further. I mean, both these players are very low on their second stock. It's very, very even. Oh, but then Animefan misses that dare option onto Meow. Meow gets that lovely little bow two-piece. Animefan's able to touch that ledge. Meow picks up spear, gets the dare, misses that side air, but might land a second one here in a second, or Animefan will get stomped but not have a follow-up, and Meow will get the spear recovery knockout on Animefan. Animefan's having a really difficult time following up with a lot of these attacks that they're throwing out. They're landing the beginning part of them, like maybe a stomp, but not do the stomp side air or the side air part of the stomp side air, right? So we'll have to see. Animefan does go and get that orb dare knockout onto Meow, but Meow can take 100% advantage of that while Animefan is still having a difficult time. Right now, Meow picks up that spear, gets that nair, and that might be the option of going a little bit more aggressive against Animefan currently, but you can see Animefan's going off that ledge, trying to bring Meow off that ledge a little bit more. And as you can see, like a Psylight into neutral, like trying to bring him off that ledge a little bit. Animefan's able to go and take that platform control a lot more, but we'll have to see.
And see we will, as I can see that side air is actually going to put Meow in orange, as Animefan still with some pretty good Thor defense, sticking with yellow, as this color difference is really starting to stack up on Meow, and Animefan is just able to find the spacing, able to find the attacks. Meow is starting to struggle a little bit to try to reclaim that space that they're always able to get, is able to claim that D-Light Sayer in almost getting the read. So the fact that Meow doesn't have the read quite just yet, and like you said, neither does Animefan, but they're getting there. It is really, really close to just forming in midair right now. As currently that stomp Sayer, Meow knowing not to dodge out of the weapon throw. Very good game sense, and unfortunately unable to dodge out of that side light, side air. Animefan 2-0 on the board. Meow is gonna have a lot of adjusting to do to bring the game speed up in their favor, because the fact that it's slowing down, I'm going to say, is in Animefan's favor, and that is how they're able to just land hammer hit after hammer hit after hammer hit and just let them connect one after the other, as we have no character swaps. So Meow is feeling pretty good about this Kaya, as Animefan must be feeling pretty good about that orb right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll have to see. I mean, their orbs, like, on and off, man. I mean, they're having a lot. I just think they're realistically having a lot of difficult times really getting these options onto Meow. And Meow's going a little bit crazy with the unarmed against Animefan. Animefan did bite back with a decent amount of force, but right now Meow does have that one color part of their stock lead, but now things are even. Animefan was able to bring things even while Meow was at a mental disadvantage where they had a difficult time really countering what Animefan threw at them. But that spear there will go ahead and knock out Animefan's first stock.
I feel like this game we're gonna start to see some reads start to happen as Anime Fan is starting to connect a lot more hammer combos and starting to feel a lot more comfortable to just rock steady on this stage and completely throw themselves at Meow. But also Meow has also had enough time to adjust, and I'm pretty sure we're starting to see some reads come out from Meow too, as this bow is finally able to pick up some space. And Meow doesn't need to slow down the game in their favor; they just need to pick it up in their favor. And right now, it is slightly in their favor. We have 2 orange versus 2 white. Anime Fan still looking to just completely chase Meow down, as they are proficient in both of these weapons, always able to find the hits to connect. Meow unfortunately unable to get that unarmed combo, and that gives Anime Fan a little bit more space to be able to even out the game. And weapon starving is a true combo. What do we say here in the Galaxy Cup? Weapon starving is a true combo, and Anime Fan is demonstrating that combo quite nicely, as they were actually able to bring the lead in their favor against an unarmed from Meow. What was probably, oh, there it is, that D-Sig. It is able to cover a good amount of space. It almost feels like setting a trap down, that you can't enter that space for as long as the Sig is charged up. So Meow is finally starting to gain some stage control and get a grip, and that D-Sig, that BOUT D-Sig coming very close, that also feels like a little trap you're setting down, but Anime Fan just barely spacing themselves out of that, as we could be, there we go, red on second stock. There goes a little bit of a mental game that we're going to be seeing Meow play a little bit, if they're going to aggress and build up extra credit, or if they're going to play defensively and try to tank that. And it seems like they're going with the former and could be working on a 2-stock victory right now. A little hard to tell though.
Yeah, I don't know, but right now, Anime Fan is able to go ahead and land that hammer side air knockout onto Meow X DD. Is 1 stock all. Anime Fan is so low. Will they be able to change this into their favor going forward? I mean, Meow is doing very, very well with that Kaya pick. That Spirit Air comes out in clutch. Do we see a signature knockout? Yes, we do. And Anime Fan loses their final stock, and Meow will go ahead and get a point to their name. Now Meow needs to do it 2 more times to advance further into the bracket. And if they can replicate what happened last round, I'm sure they definitely could.
They have a very real chance of replicating that. But it's also going to be quite an uphill battle for Meow. There we go. Just needed a second to kind of breathe. I know what I'm doing. Let me lock in this Kaya one more time, as we might be feeling a little indecisive about the map picks, as we could be going back to Small Brawl Haven. We end up going all the way to Demon Island, a fan favorite tonight, as we have no character swaps. Anime Fan must be feeling pretty good right now, because although they were to lose the last game, I'd still say they have some momentum in their favor just because of how close it was, and they were still able, you know, pick up some speed, and it wasn't as one-sided as a few other games as we've seen so far. So Anime Fan is still feeling pretty good, but it feels like there's 3 extra steps of speed on this Kaya right now. Meow playing this Kaya beautifully. See, that's sometimes just what happens. You associate characters with players, as this damage lead very, very slightly in Anime Fan's favor, but that is not before Meow was able to get an early stock with these dares. Gorgeous.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was a phenomenal knockout coming out Meow XDD with that triple spear dare knockout onto Anime Fan. And like you were talking about, things were very even going into the first 2 rounds when it came down to Anime Fan really beating Meow. But then as rounds went on, I don't know what kind of clicked in Meow's brain, but something changed to the point where Meow's playstyle has changed, where it can adapt against Anime Fan. And they got almost a 2-stock win over Anime Fan last round. It was Anime Fan sticking with the same characters, but going over to Demon Island. I want to see how Demon Island really works out, right? We do have, I think, literally Meow's got a 1-stock lead over Anime Fan. And as I say, that silent side air comes out of Anime Fan. We don't see it there. We might see a knockout here in about 3 seconds. Maybe not. Meow with the spear pickup as well. But Anime Fan also very, very low on their second stock. Meow missing that signature, and Anime Fan with the counter. We're seeing so many players tonight throw all these signatures out. And expect there not to be some type of rebuttal from the opposing player. And realistically, half the players that we've seen have not been doing rebuttal. There is enough recovery frames where players are able to counter back as signatures, and we're seeing a lot of it coming from Animefan. And same thing with Meow, just like right there when Animefan missed that hammer signature, got to there and got the knockout on Animefan's second stock. So we'll have to see. It's a major thing to worry about when you're going into each of these rounds, but we'll have to see. Animefan is starting to bring things back compared to where the match originally was.
I would still beg to say that Animefan has got to be feeling pretty good right now, although some momentum is starting to sway in Meow's favor. After that very early stock and also winning the previous game, they are still able to adjust and keep this up, because notice one thing that they did, that they were able to slow this game down a little bit, and they were not taking any risks. They said, okay, if you have a chance at winning, I'm gonna try to stomp that. If you are at a deficiency, slowing down the game is usually in your advantage, and right now Animefan definitely took full advantage of that to slow down the game, take no chances, and say, I'm not going to wait for you to pick up the speed. I am just going to stop it. And Animefan unfortunately dropping the slide into ground pound, and that gives Meow another one on the board. Oh, yeah, how do you mentally recover from that, missing the ground pound?
I don't know, but I think maybe mental recovery may be going over to a different character. Or not. Okay, Animefan's like, you know what? Let's go back to Thor. Demon Island's not a must today, okay? We're not going back to Demon Island. Meow did very well with the ceiling and the floor of that map. Let's go somewhere else to see how things change. But something has to change in Animefan's mind right now to counter what Meow is really throwing at them. Animefan's missing a lot of different follow-ups. They're throwing a lot of signatures and getting countered. So they have to try to fix that up a little bit if they want to advance further in bracket and not get reverse 3-rounded by Meow in this tournament.
I would feel pretty confident that Animefan has the mental change, because like I said, they were able to slow down the game and bring it, or at least try to bring it in their favor. When the game speeds up, it is in Meow's favor. So right now, as an Animefan, to slow down the game, and you can definitely see that starting to happen a little bit right now, although the game is actually picking up in Animefan's favor. And the reason for the map change is because Demon Island, that's where Meow was able to get a very early stock, and right now currently on Brawlhaven, Animefan is trying to make sure that doesn't happen. No early stocks. I'm not trying to have a repeat of the game. That is when it all kind of crumbled. So right now, Animefan is going to have to try to find a way into this Kaya, because you can actually already see it happening. Animefan is finding the reads and finding the right way to chase down Meow, and that weapon throw is also going to chase Meow off the side of that screen, almost KO, as Meow's going to have to try to find a way to make Spear work into Hammer, and goes for that D-Sig, but not quite enough to KO. And we will be seeing a Sair knockout just a little over a minute into the game. And also, it was not an early stock. That was pretty deep into red. Meow had to work a little bit more for that compared to that early stock last game. So if anything, that's a good sign. You want to make sure that does not happen. You want to really, sometimes you want to make sure your stock's last as long as possible. You're as deep as red as you can until you finally let that go. Animefan being pretty relentless, very ambitious, not being afraid to chase Meow all the way to the bottom corner. Meow is able to find their way back onto stage, still trying to continue the damage. And this is also a bit what I was saying earlier. Just when you think you can count Meow out, they bring it around. You blink, 2 stocks are gone. You blink, they have a score up on the board. And that is one thing that's always so strange to see from Meow. They always know how to come back from a deficiency, and it almost feels like they planned it. There are some sets Meow probably wrote out before they played.
I don't know, but we'll have to see if they did what they can really throw out going against Animefan. It seems like they're doing very, very well knocking out Animefan's second stock, and Animefan is in the same situation that they were in the previous round. So we'll have to see how things go with that. But I mean, with Animefan having what, like, this little bit of a disadvantage, they need to knock it out early if they are able to. Right now, we do have Meow knocking Animefan into the orange of that final stock, and Meow still has that full entire stock lead over Animefan. Phenomenal movement coming out of Meow to get that recovery, but that sidelight cider comes in clutch. Oh, but that dare lands, but that recovery lands as well by Animefan. We're seeing a lot of back and forth. Anime Fan needs to knock out this second stock off of Meow right now if they even want to have a chance of going forward in this bracket.
A lot of these weapon throws are not quite connecting from Anime Fan, because even when they have the read on the movement, Meow knows whether or not they're supposed to dodge out of it or just let it phase just barely over their head, as currently Anime Fan is starting to lean into KO color. Meow is just gonna have to find the right sig to place that D-sig right in that moment. Might have not been the perfect one, but that D-sig in that moment for the Sultan. Good God, leave them alone as we have the reverse 3-0